At Mountain View Bible Church, we have 4 core values. The first is Bible-centered ministry. The second is relational ministry. The third is ministry bridging various ages and backgrounds. And the fourth is outward-focused ministry. Now, we believe at Mountain View Bible Church that each of these core values are not only essential to Mountain View Bible Church and who we are as a church and how God has designed us as a church, but we also believe that these core values are things that we need to constantly be growing and nurturing in our fellowship. We don't want to stay the same. We want to be growing in each of those areas as God is calling us to grow in each of those 4 areas. Now, something that we have noticed here at Mountain View Bible Church, and something that even missionaries have noticed as they have come back every 4 or 3 years to come to our missions conferences, is they've noticed that the community has been growing around Mountain View Bible Church. What was once a church that was out in more of a rural area without very many houses around it is now has all of these subdivisions growing in all around it. And as we see that growth, we are excited because we recognize that God has a plan and a purpose for the people in this community. See, God is burdened for this community. God knows that our community, every person in the world needs the gospel message, needs the message of hope, of Christ's death, burial, and resurrection. And so as we look at the community growing around us, we are burdened as a church family to reach into our community and share this message of hope. Something that we, as we look at the community and are burdened for it, we recognize that as the community is growing around us, that we have an obligation as a church to grow as well and reach into our community. Because if we as a church are to stay the same size as the community is growing around us, what that means is that we are not reaching our community with the message of hope. And as we are sharing in this burden together, something else that we recognize is that for the past 3 years, we have either been at or near full capacity in both our auditorium and our parking lot. And as we look at that, we're excited about that, but we also recognize that we have something that needs to change. Because if things are to stay the way they are, then that means that we can't continue to reach out into our community and invite people in. And as we look at this imperative and this need, something that we have come to the conclusion of is our need to expand our facilities. Now, a year and a half ago, we made the decision to purchase this property behind us. And as we made a decision to purchase this property, our goal and our desire is to address those 2 things, to address our need for our auditorium and also our need to expand our parking. Now, here in the first of 3 phases, what we are looking to do by God's power and fully convinced that it's His desire for us to greater reach into our community is we're desiring to expand our parking. And together with that, it's going to be connecting with the city of Post Falls, connected to the utilities and the sewer in order to make this first phase a reality. And as we regrade our parking and expand our parking this direction, this allows us to take a step forward in the vision that God has placed upon our hearts. Because it's by God's grace and fully believing it is His desire for us, we desire to dramatically increase our part in God's lasting impact on families in our communities. Now, we are excited about this, and I hope you are as well. And we hope that you will join us all together as a church family and being a part of the journey of faith that God is calling us to here at Mountain View Bible Church.